We had been married for 7 years, and like many couples, we had our ups and downs. But over time, I started noticing subtle changes in her behavior. She became unusually quiet, often lost in thought. Her phone, which used to lie around the house unlocked and unattended, was suddenly always in her hand or face down on the table. She started working late more often, and even on weekends she'd say she needed to stop by the office. I didn't want to jump to conclusions. I told myself she was just tired, maybe overwhelmed. I wanted to believe that because I loved her deeply. I thought a break might help, so I planned a week-long road trip. Just her and me, away from work and responsibilities. I imagined long drives, shared music, deep talks, and reconnecting over campfires or in small roadside motels. At first, things seemed okay. We laughed a bit, took photos, and visited some places we used to talk about. But beneath the surface, I sensed her mind was elsewhere. She was always texting, her phone screen turned away from me. When I'd ask who it was, she'd say, "Just work," or "My sister." One night, while we were in a quiet town by the lake, I couldn't take it anymore. I asked her directly, "Are you hiding something from me?" She looked right at me, no hesitation, and said, "No, you're just imagining things." Her voice was calm, but her eyes didn't match. I wanted to believe her so badly that I pushed my doubts aside and tried to enjoy the rest of the trip. I told myself I was being paranoid, but the truth has a way of finding its way out. A few days after we returned home, she started acting even more distant. One afternoon I noticed she had left her laptop open on the kitchen table. I wasn't trying to snoop, but something inside me said I needed to look. What I saw broke me. There were messages, intimate, emotional, and explicit, between her and her boss's son. They talked about how thrilling it was to keep their affair secret, how they'd meet at hotels, and even joked about our road trip. She had been with him just days before we left. When I confronted her, she didn't cry, didn't beg for forgiveness. She simply said, "I didn't want to hurt you, but I can't pretend anymore." She packed her bags and left that night. No goodbye, no explanation beyond the obvious. The days that followed were a blur. I barely ate, barely slept. I went through every emotion, rage, sadness, confusion. I kept wondering what I did wrong, what signs I missed, how someone I gave everything to could betray me like that. Friends tried to comfort me, but most of the healing had to come from within. I threw myself into work, joined a gym, and started journaling. I traveled alone, trying to rediscover who I was before her. It wasn't easy. Healing isn't linear. Some days I felt strong, others I felt broken all over again. Months later, I met someone new at a friend's birthday party. She was warm, easy to talk to, and didn't push. We started spending time together, just as friends at first. She listened without judgment, and slowly I began to trust again. She didn't try to replace anyone. She just accepted me as I was, scars and all. Falling in love again wasn't dramatic or sudden. It was quiet, steady, and real. She reminded me what love should feel like: safe, honest, mutual. I never thought I'd feel that way again, but I did. What happened with my ex-wife broke me, but it also taught me what I truly needed and deserved. In losing someone who didn't value me, I made space for someone who truly does.